We need to talk about some details here on today's trailer dropped by Bungie. Now, before I spoil it, you gotta watch it first. It's only 39 seconds, but boys, all you need is 39 seconds. I'm telling you. Yeah? Do you like it? Man, Bungie knows how to get us hyped. Fellas, I did not expect Last Word to return to us in such a glorious fashion. Now, some things we need to take note of in this trailer is number one, is that Hipfire accuracy is on point. And number two, in many of the clips in today's trailer, we actively see Last Word 3-tapping. I mean, 3-tapping everything with ease. And even a Dawnblade right here seemed to die in 4 shots. I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna assume he was weak, because there is no way in hell a Last Word just 4-tapped him. Now again, we did a pre-review of Last Word last week. The number one reason why we did this, to showcase what Last Word used to do back in Destiny 1, in terms of its feel, in terms of its reload animations, its troll, and my biggest concern was those same characteristics that defined Last Word would not transition here in Destiny 2. I was concerned that Bungie was going to leave behind those things, and they did not. The troll is still there, boys, which I know seems like a small thing to be concerned about, but come on, that's like one of the trademarks of the Last Word. So let's talk numbers. Last week when we dove back into D1 though, we saw that Last Word was in the same archetype as 150 round per minute hand cannons, but of course it did not shoot at 150. It exceeded that greatly and actually shot at 225, essentially bringing the time to kill of Last Word down to 0.53 seconds. That is, of course, if you can 3-tap with Last Word, which means all 3 shots need to be crit shots. Now, the concern was after Last Word got data mined here in D2, was Last Word going to return to us and still be able to 3-tap, considering that the details on its archetype showed that Last Word was going to be a 180 round per minute hand cannon, which in the database, it could very well be that. But the way we saw the trailer today, and I know things were like slowed down a little bit and then sped back up in certain situations, the Last Word seemed to behave just like it did back in Destiny 1. The difference being it seems to have much better hit registration from the hip than even what it did back in D1, considering that I'm seeing nothing but crit shots being landed right here, which could honestly be affected by the greater range stat on Last Word in Destiny 2. So long story short, guys, I think Last Word is definitely returning to us as a more complete gun than what it was back in D1. Not on the level it was in like year 1 D1. Good lord, back then we could 2-tap with Last Word. But I'm just really happy to see that Last Word will be able to 3-tap, and mechanically it still works the same way that it worked back in Destiny 1. Now, let's talk about the final weapon in the trailer, because yeah, I saw this coming. I think we all did. You can't bring Last Word back into Destiny without bringing Thorn. Yes, boys and girls, Thorn is returning to us in Season of the Drifter, which I think is like March 7th, March 8th, I don't know. Sometimes in March, and I want to say closer to the beginning of March. So it's not that far away. Now, as many people that has complained about Last Word, the amount of salt that you've seen maybe in some forums, Reddit, and some comment sections of some people's videos, the amount of salt that is generated by Last Word is a mere teaspoon compared to the amount of salt generated by Thorn. I was a Last Word user all through Destiny 1. I hated Thorn with the passion because both of those hand cannons can go head to head against each other. They lock up, they're both deadly, and they both have two very conflicting, clashing playstyles. Now, Thorn is a long way away from now, but I'm sure it's going to be data mined soon. But let me go into details of what the Thorn brings to the table. In Destiny 1, it had the exotic perk, Mark of the Devourer. Rounds pierce targets and cause lingering damage over time. It was definitely one of the most aggravating weapons to get hit with. Back in year 1, you can easily be 2-tapped by Thorn because that poison damage would finish you off. Thorn did receive actually a 25% range nerf back when Rise of Iron first launched, which I know many of of us were very upset about. Bungie was constantly worried about reintroducing Thorn and making it too powerful. Again, the levels of salt that may have been generated by weapons like Clever Dragon, maybe some Red Death, Hopscotch, Last Word, none of those have anything on Thorn. So Bungie was super cautious on how they treated Thorn. They cannot do that here though in D2. With Last Word being able to 3-tap, Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten also being able to 3-tap, Thorn is gonna have to be good. So guys, that is our trailer breakdown today. Last Word quest starts tomorrow. We will be putting out a guide on that quest as soon as we finish it, as well as a review. We'll get into details on what the rounds per minute of Last Word is from the hip, as well as aiming down sights, because some people have speculated that when you aim down sights, Last Word could shoot at 180 rounds per minute. And while shooting from the hip, that's when we hit that max rate of fire of 225. Purely speculation, we'll know tomorrow. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.